This is Vishal here from Drapcode. So in this video, we will see how to create new records or new rows of data in Supabase. So we are working on a series where we are doing an end-to-end integration with Supabase, where we are using Drapcode as a front-end builder, and we are using Supabase as a backend engine or as a backend API, where everything is getting stored in Supabase Postgres database, and we are building a full-fledged application on top of the data which is residing in Supabase. So we have already covered topics where we are fetching the data and displaying in a data table, which you can see on the screen. We are able to download data in CSV, and everything is coming from Supabase. So this is how my Supabase looks like. It has two tables, product and reviews. Okay, so product has a couple of columns like name, description, price, manufacturing date, created date and ID. These are all default. So now we want to build a capability in Drapcode where someone submits a form, submits it, and then data gets created in Supabase. So basically we are not storing anything at Drapcode, we are just pushing everything to Supabase. So Drapcode is just a front-end layer or a front-end builder. So let's see how that can be done. So we have created a collection in Drapcode where we have just given the name of the fields. So let's go and see how the collection looks like. So I go to collection, I see here. So we have this collection which has like fields, name, description, price, manufacturing date. Why we have created this collection when we are not storing anything? Because in Drapcode you need to give the structure of the schema or the fields, right? So that you can create collection form, you can create data table, data group, and display data when it is coming from the external or the REST API. So it is much easier to display data when you already know what the structure is, so that you can just map all the fields and then build forms, tables, and any UI component, right? If we don't have this predefined structure, then you need to play everything on JSON path, which is not a very optimal approach when you don't know much coding, right? So this is a very good use case when everything is mapped automatically, and then you just go and work on the fields which are already available on Drapcode. So we have created a skeleton collection called product. It has these 4 fields. So now let's go and create a product list page. Product create page. We already have a product list displaying here. So now let's go and do a product create page. So what we'll do, we'll create a collection form. After that, we will make an API call to Supabase, push all the data to Supabase, and then redirect to a list page where we will see that newly created record or newly created row should be visible. Okay, so let's create a page called, say, product create page. Okay, I will not build it from scratch. I'll just copy from the home page so that I don't have to spend time on designing. I'll say create. So it has created a page which is product create page. I'll just remove the table because I don't need this. Okay, I'll draw a 2-column layout. Let's add a button here. So let's say I'll say go to list page, which is a home page. Product list page. Okay, I'll go to the settings and it is going to home page, which is fine. Let's make it right aligned. Let's remove these classes and add bootstrap classes. Drapcode supports bootstrap framework, so you can apply any bootstrap classes which are available. Okay, so it is here. Now let's drop a collection form. So I'll again drop a 2-column layout and then let's build a collection form. So now I'll drop a collection form and give the collection which is product. Okay, so now you see the structure is created because we have already these fields defined: name, description, price, manufacturing date. So now once we submit the form, the data should go on Supabase directly. So let's build an event. What that event will do, event will send the data to Supabase and redirect us to the list page. So before that, we will need an external API. We need a connection that whatever data is coming from that form should go to Supabase. So I'll go to my external API module and create one more external API, which is, let's say, create new record on Supabase. Okay, now let's go and see what APIs are there in Supabase. So I'll go back. So I'll go to the API documentation. So API is available in Supabase in a project. So this is API docs. Once you click, you will land on an API like this. So here you will need your access token, basically API key and bearer token, which you will need to make further API calls. We've already copied these. Okay. And then we go to the product API documentation, because we are pushing, we are basically playing with a product API. So let's go and find the API which is needed to create new record. So this is read rows, which is reading of data, filtering. Okay. So here it is, insert row. So this is the API which we need to basically push new data to a Supabase. So here, this is the base URL of the API. So I'll just copy this. I'll come back to trap code, paste the URL. So this is the post API, you see post method. So we'll just keep it post. Now in the headers, it is expecting two things. One is API key and second is authorization, which is bearer token. So what I'll do, I'll just copy API key here in the headers and copy this key. So these are the keys which are specific to my project. When you will create your project, you will get your own set of keys, so you can use those. How to get those keys? So you again go to the project settings, API, and then you see all these. So this is your public key and this is your secret key. Okay, so let's copy this. In the authorization, we'll say bearer and then the key. So now we have created a basic structure that send the data, and basically these are the headers which we've created. Now let's create the body, that what exactly we want to send to Supabase. So here, since the data is coming from a collection form, but we are not storing it, so we'll choose non-persisted collection. So in case of collection item, the data comes from the database, which is a local MongoDB Trapcode database. But since we are not using Trapcode database, so we will say non-persisted collection. So this will take the data from the collection form, bind it into a collection, which is a product collection, but it will just send it as it is. So it's basically an in-memory collection. So I'll say product. Now here we need to give the fields, that okay, what data should go in which particular field in Supabase. So let's go and see the structure. So I come back again. Here you see it is saying the key value pair. Okay, there are a couple of more settings which need to give in the header. So -h means header. So I'll say content type is application JSON. So let's copy this also in the header. Content type is application/JSON. And this is one more, which is prefer. And this is return representation. Okay. Now binding. So if you see, my table has these fields: name, description, price, and manufacturing date. So we'll just need exact these names. So we want to send the data with these particular names. So I'll say name, which is the name of my product collection, which is coming from the form. Second is description. This is fine, which is coming from the description field. Then the price. This is coming from the price field in the collection form. And then the manufacturing date. So this is coming from the manufacturing date field of the collection form, manufacturing date. This is fine. So we have done the mapping of the body, and we have also done the mapping of the header, or the basically request type. So everything is done. We don't want to process response because we are not storing anything. So there is no point of processing anything. We'll just say save setting. So now we have created a API connection, which is like hitting the Supabase and sending the data. So now let's create an event where we bind basically we will bind that event to the form, and it will tell what exactly needs to be done. So I'll go to my events and create an event where we'll say create new record in Supabase. Okay, I'll say create. So the very first thing we'll say send data to external API. So in that external API, we'll say send data to external API. Here we'll say create new records on Supabase. So this is the API which we are going to use. And request response you can save in session, you can just ignore it. So it's optional. I'll save it. I'll just redirect in the navigation. I'll say page redirect. So redirect to home page. Okay, that's all. So very simple event where we are saying just send the data to Supabase and go to home page. So let's go to the product create form and bind this collection. So bind this event. So the collection form is here. I'll go to the settings, and in the event I'll just choose create new records in Supabase. That's all. Validation we'll leave for now, but yes, since we have created a collection, you can also apply validation, whether you want to values to be null, not null, follow some pattern, all those things, right? So that's fine. I'll just save it. Now let's go to the list page and make a connection to this page. We can directly open this page from preview, but yeah, it's a good approach when you just link your application so that you can have a smooth back and forth navigation. So I'll drop a 2-column layout here, and let's drop a link which is going to product create page, and I'll say create product. I'll remove these classes and add the bootstrap classes btn lg and btn warning, and let's make it right aligned. So now let's preview this page. We already have this page, but yeah, just open a new page again. Okay, so now this is the page. Let's go and create product. So I'll create product. So let's see what all data is there in Supabase. So as of now there are 6 products, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so let's create another product. I'll name it as product 7, product from trap code, price let's say 280, and then some manufacturing date. Okay, and I'll submit this. So as soon as I submit this, it will trigger the event. The event will send the data to Supabase and then redirect the page to the home page where we are displaying the list of products. And if it fails, it will show some failure message here. I'll submit. So it has pushed the data to Supabase and redirected us to the list page. So here, if you see the product 7 which we have just created is here. Let's go to Supabase and see whether the product is there also. So I go to my Supabase and just refresh this. So the product is here, the one which we just created. Okay, so now what it has done, it is basically pushing the data in the real time to Supabase and then fetching for the list page. So this completes the create flow where you are able to create things or create a collection record from trap code, where trap code is being used as a front-end builder. You are pushing the form and data is getting stored directly to the external data source. If we go and check the trap code collection, so there won't be any data here. So everything is coming from Supabase in the real time. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you again in the next video. Bye bye.